I'm so pleased that we were able to catch you because you are really, I know there's a lot going on. What
Yeah.
are you probably winding down on some of your things yourself, but are you getting ready now to launch your 2024 calendar?
Yeah, actually the newsletter's going out tomorrow. I am. So
Yeah.
this is I'm going to the end of the year now. So just one or two, about 3 or 4 more classes to go before the end. And then next year I'm starting off on the 6th of January in-person workshop in the Heart Wings in Lucan, my healing center in Lucan, with a retreat day, an angelic introduction to Angels Day. So I know last year half the class were professional healers and half the class were people starting off, because it's just a wonderful day to give yourself a breath of fresh air after the Christmas and reintroduce yourself to your guardian angels.
Oh, it's
And
just a great idea. And
yeah,
and it actually really does. It kind of calls in all that positive, vibrant energy, doesn't it? And
yeah,
particularly, I feel, and some of you may be with me on this, I feel at this time of the year, I'm someone that when the light's gone, I've got, please come back. I can't
yeah,
bear the dark winter, long, long winter days.
yeah,
And so there's something about, particularly at this time of year, where this whole angelic kind of uh, energy and vibration really lifts the spirits. It certainly does for me. So I think it's a beautiful way to start the year when, when it's so dark and sort of in the
yeah,
depths of the bleak midwinter. But I know many of you love the winter time, and I'm delighted for you. So it's also a good time for that. Debbie, thank you so much. So listen, there's always loads and loads of questions when you come on. And I mean, I'm going to start them off. I know that you have all kinds of, you work with crystals, you work with healing
mm,
angels, you
yeah,
work with all kinds of angels. You're an angel connector, so you bring people connect them with their angels. But very much a big part of it is, and you've always spoken about this, is the meditation, which is how you feel we connect most powerfully with our
mm,
angels. And it
yeah,
is the one thing many of us here will nod our heads and say, we have the greatest will in the world. And somehow this beautiful opportunity to have this incredible relationship just slips away from us because we're so busy doing all kinds of other things. Do you have some advice about that, Debbie?
yeah. You're right in relation to how the best way to connect from my own perspective and experience. The best way to connect with your angels is through meditation, any kind of activity that allows you to align with yourself without distraction is really potent and really powerful, because we continuously ask, we're always putting requests out there or seeking support. But there's a lot of clogginess around us with all that happens in our world, all the distractions in our mind. So if you want to tune back in, it's through meditation, and it's not easy, as you said. I mean, but anyway, I'll give you some tips and techniques that
Yeah,
might help.
lovely. That's a great way to go.
So yeah, so what I would suggest is, and particularly we're coming up to the new year, and many people will have New Year's resolutions. I know I have many of them. But for me, in 2009, I started meditating in 2006, and it was the end of 2008, the beginning of 2009. I remember driving to work one day and having a very strong sense, overwhelmingly, that I just needed to make a commitment to myself. So if you can even have that conversation with yourself and call in your spirit guides and angels, call in your guardian angels, even putting it out there with the request, I really want to tune in more. I want more peace, because when we meditate, it's not only about connecting with angels, most importantly, it's about connecting with peace, self-healing, so giving yourself time. And it's one of the most powerful ways to heal. And we don't realize that because we're continuously chasing our tails all the time. If you have time, when you can allow yourself every day, when you allocate just for you, and if you sit there and try and close your eyes and your mind still wanders, that's okay. Just to put that out there, because sometimes when we start meditating, we think we should be experts, or we should be a certain way, or we should be getting deeply into it every single time. You're not going to. I don't. Not every single day. As much as I can, I will connect, and often when my mind wanders, I'll actually talk to the angels at that point. So instead of going into a story, a conflict, a worry, I'll say, oh, there, look at that. I'll call in my guardian angels or the archangel, the particular archangel, an ascended master, whoever I feel is I need at that time, or whoever I feel is there. And I'll say, look, I can't get this today. My mind is wandering. I'm struggling. Can you help me? And even at that point, if my mind doesn't stop, if the chatter continues, if something is winding me up in the background, then I'll tell the story to the angels of what I need. I'll explain to them within myself, aloud or in my mind. I'll say, look, there's this situation is happening at the moment. I don't know how to resolve it. I'm really wound up. I can't relax. So, and then I might imagine myself breathing a certain color, maybe the green of Raphael, the healing angel, or the blue of protection of Michael, or the white of the Holy Spirit. I'll say to myself, or I might make a suggestion, or I might put it out there. I'm going to let myself breathe in, and knowing and trusting I'm breathing in this light. And this is the healing energy I now need. And I'm just going to breathe out the pain, the suffering, the struggle, and the internal conflict inside me. And that might sound like a very strange way to meditate. But starting off, if you cannot quieten your mind, if it's like the last thing in the world you feel you can do, and it's very hard. I mean, look at the way my young one goes around a lot of the time is like this. Do you know what I mean? That's how people relax, and I don't see it. But anyway, that's what the young people do. I sound like an ancient woman, but that's what I do actually sometimes as well. Yes. So we're more likely to try and distract ourselves in our time of comfort, to comfort ourselves outside, which might seem fine at the time. And there's no judgment with this. But really and truly, if you want to look at what is causing the pain, the conflict, the need to fill the void, it's inside us. Mm-hmm. So as much as you can, try and, like, first of all, set aside time every day, which is really important. And if you can't just get there. Now, listening to quiet music can help. I know people who set an alarm on their phone, which reminds them at certain times when they know that they'll have time to sit down on their own. Okay, I'm going to give myself just 5 minutes here. That's it, just 5 minutes. I find crystals a great comfort, but I mean, that could be just me. But for helping myself stabilize, as in, if my mind is wandering, if I want just to go into a story, if I don't want to connect with myself, I'll often jump out and want to go off in my mind down the road of an old past thing, whereby a crystal popped on top of my head, under a bobbin, or in my hand can really, particularly an amethyst, can really help to quieten a really active mind. So that can really help sometimes. Knowing that you're worthy of it as well. And I know the last thing sometimes we want to do when we're really stuck or in pain, when we're struggling or having anxiety, is be quietly alone with ourselves, because it feels like you're going to combust inside with it. But when you do so, maybe having a little ceremony, lighting a candle, invite your angels in instantly. So before you even sit down and close your eyes, you can call them in. And I always call them 3 times, because 3 is a very powerful, protected number. So I may call in Archangel Michael, or the energy of Jesus, or the Holy Spirit, or my guardian, whoever it might be. I'll call them 3 times. I'll say, look, I'm about to start now and I need help and support. I'll be very, very clear. I don't, I would say if there's something bugging you, be very direct with the angels. They only can help and intervene when they have permission. And sometimes we might sense or feel, I have given permission, but maybe there's a wall that you can't see that you've created at some level, whereby part of you doesn't feel worthy or able. So you might just restrict yourself slightly. So it's really important to be very clear about what your needs are. Even if you have mentioned it before, be very clear. Don't be afraid to be very specific. They already know what you're experiencing, what's happening, where you're at. But God, they can't do anything unless you let them. And they really need help.
Can I ask you a question on that? Because you have said that the sort of wall or block can be whether or not you feel worthy. I have a funny feeling that that's a really good reason why so many people don't. They don't think that they are, a good enough person, or that they have habits or behaviors or faults, or even maybe old sins of the past that they just feel means that the angels won't come to them. So you mean absolutely everybody has a right to speak completely openly and have a perfectly clear
absolutely
the angels. Yeah.
100%. Oh my God, 100. Doesn't matter what you've done or who you are or where you are in your life.
Mhm.
There is such love for you, because remember, we have come into this reality. There's a lot here. We've made certain agreements before we were incarnated, that in order for our soul to understand itself better, it needed to learn certain things. Some of these things cause us to create situations or scenarios that lead us into great pain, embarrassment, feeling regret or shame, guilt. And we might think, God Almighty, we may hold ourselves to ransom oftentimes and feel very unworthy and very much like we deserve what we found ourselves in. The angels understand that this is a created reality to learn, to deeply learn on a soul level. There is never, ever any judgment, no matter what you've done, no matter who you are. The angels will never judge you. They see inside you. When you peel back the layers around us, right into our core, every one of us is the same. There's a radiance of love that is our true essence. And on top of that is the expressions and experiences of everything we've ever had or happened to us, all the things we have inherited from our families, ancestral line, from the trauma from our ancestors. So a lot of the things that we actually create, think that we are or hold, aren't actually ours. They're actually inherited. Something that was unresolved, a grandfather, grandmother, even further back, that hasn't had a chance to be addressed within the family system, will be passed through. And so we'll carry it as well as our own stuff. So just remember, the angels will never judge you. Their role is to love you and to support you and to allow you to sense that within yourself. And another thing that often will put people off, and I feel it a little bit in the group, is it being a little bit afraid of when, if the angel does stand in, what they'll look like, what they'll feel like. Will they be big and beaming? Will you be able for it? So the one thing they'll never ever do is they don't want to frighten you. The last thing they want to do is frighten you. So they'll, sometimes people will often experience, you might hear me or others say, beautiful color signifies a certain archangel, a beautiful smell, a tingling sensation, an expansion, a heat or a coolness. Now, if that's going to cause you to go into terrible fear, then they're never going to do anything to frighten you. Oftentimes they'll come in as a sense of a warmth, a love, a feeling of relief, a sense that everything is okay, a feeling in the background of just being supported. It could be so subtle that you might question if it's there at all, or it could be so very, very there that you might be under no illusion that they're with you. Whatever would be most right for you is how they'll present, but never be in any fear. Because when an angel visits you, when they're there with you and they connect, what you will feel is a sense of incredible love, a sense of support, where something may have been a block in your mind beforehand, where there may have been terrible fear. When they've stood in and communicated or connect with you, you'll often have this sense of an alleviation of whatever you were carrying, particularly if it was something that was really, really scary or overwhelming, or felt like you were being pinned in. The liberation that will come with them is amazing. So never be fearful of them. They're
Mm.
amazing to work with.
And isn't it true, really, that if you do feel fear, it's not necessarily an angelic?
No. Oh, it's not. No, it's not
Connection.
even. It's never an angel.
Yes.
Ego loves to get involved sometimes, and there are sometimes we absorb energy, other people's fears. Those that I was talking to my class with this morning. Some of us are very sensitive to the world. We were born with this gift, and it may not seem like a gift if you're being whacked out of it when you walk into a crowded room where you're overly sensitive, and you can pick up when someone's angry with you. And it can be quite a burden when we don't know how to protect ourselves. So the angels, one thing that they love to help you with is to, when we become overwhelmed with other people's stuff and we pick up on other people's stuff, and we can easily, someone who's very sensitive or somebody, a healer, can often pick up on, because maybe we're compassionate towards someone, our heart goes out to somebody struggling at the time, we'll often try and carry them energetically. We don't mean to, but we can floor ourselves doing that as well. So when
And
you call in, sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say
Sorry.
that's it. That is actually something a lot of people, particularly
Yeah,
those service of others in some way. That's so much how they don't understand why they're, have no energy, suffering a sort of
yeah.
fatigue and low mood and all of that kind of thing. And I think it's something that needs to be spoken a lot more about, Debbie,
Mm,
particularly in the area of people involved in caring for others and the
yeah.
service. Yeah. So sorry, I interrupted you there.
No,
Okay.
you're grand.
Yeah. You mentioned something, and do you mind if we briefly go back to it? Unless you wanted to continue there. You
No,
mentioned
no.
that the sort of inherited condition, that there may have been things that occurred further back in the family that
Mm.
are, that we're still working our way through. Does that have to be something we are aware of, or can that actually be something that we've inherited without our awareness?
Absolutely. By the way, I've done family constellation training, so that's where I'm more aware of this now.
Right.
So basically, yes, oftentimes we are impacted by something that we don't even realize is there. So sometimes we may, this is going back, this is more family constellation than it would be, but the angels can help and support with this as well. There are times where we may have, maybe there was a situation within going back in our parents, grandparents, even beyond that, where something may have happened in the family that was hidden. Maybe somebody was banished, excluded. There may have been something, violence or whatever the case may be. It may have been covered up, and so it wasn't expressed or acknowledged within the family system. So what can happen is the next generation and the generation after that, somebody in that line may express that energy, because it still needs to be acknowledged. It could be somebody that was forgotten, somebody that was excluded, it can be whatever it might be. And so it's very normal that somebody in the family, or maybe the entire family, is carrying an energy, an entanglement, we'll call it, from something that happened in the past that wasn't seen or acknowledged. And that can present in so many ways. And often it can be very difficult to be aware of it because we were born with it. We have inherited from the time we were born, and so it's always been part of who we are. It could be a sense of sadness that's always lingering. It can even be a manifestation of an illness, an injury, a type of pattern that keeps presenting in our lives. There's so many ways that this can express, but so I work with a certain type of archangels in relation to this as well. But for me, I would do family constellations in relation to something that somebody is obviously very aware of. That's a different thing completely than what we're doing here tonight. But it all is the one, it's all energy.
Okay, I just felt for some reason that had to be talked about there, because I really
Okay.
do believe that there may be people who will need to contact you or others in that area, and I think it's something that we're very much not aware of, and
Yeah.
it could be so often people think, I don't know why I'm like this, or why is it always so hard for me, or why is everything a struggle, or whatever else, or even, as you said, in sort of manifesting as ill health or a condition or whatever. It might be just something worth looking at. And so that's why I wanted to go back to it just very briefly, and thank you for that. But on the
Uh-huh.
point of healing, you work with the healing angels.
Yes.
So are there specific angels that we need to contact, or how do you use, I don't mean to use the term use the angels, but how do you work with the angels
Work with them.
in
Yeah,
relation
no,
to?
that's a good question. It's a very good question, because sometimes we get very overwhelmed by doing it right, or we doing it wrong, and when you work with the angels, you can never do it wrong. I mean, they'll know, they're so amazing. They love to love. And so you know, they get so excited. Oh my God, they get so excited if you look in their direction, never mind if you call them. They're continuously there by your side. They're continuously trying to guide you into situations that will be tremendously supporting, trying to help you, trying to lift you. But sometimes we have a very strong mindset that we need to be a certain way, or we're carrying so much. But if you decide that you really would like to work with them, it does help to call in. How I say it helps is from our own mindset. It helps to have a name. Okay, so it's like knocking on someone's door and not knowing the name of the person you need to talk to, but everyone inside can help. But it does help when we know the name of the person or the archangel we want. So, in relation to like healing, Archangel Raphael is a tremendously powerful archangel for healing. If you decided to sit down and do a meditation and you just don't know what you need, so you might just feel a bit tired, a bit unsettled, a bit achy, a bit vulnerable, like all of those things. And you're like, oh my God, how can I differentiate what my needs are here? I would just suggest from that situation that you would even call in your guardian angels. You could call them 3 times. A very good, steadfast archangel I'll always work with is Michael, the archangel of protection and empowerment. And by the way, if ever you call an archangel and you don't feel that's the archangel you need. So you call Michael, you're like, I know you're for protection, but I really need a healing. He'll never say, I'm sorry, I can't help you. You'll have to ask somebody else. He will stay with you and he'll call in whoever you need. So you can't go wrong when you work with the archangels in that regard. They're never going to abandon you. They're never going to step aside and just say, I can't help you. They will do everything in their power to help you. Sometimes, see, I will work with so many. I love the archangels. I work with them. So this is something that some of you may relate to, or you could try. It may be a little bit more advanced for some of you, but just maybe it'll resonate. So if I'm sitting there and having a list of the archangels in front of you, such as Uriel for working with boundaries and peace. Gabriel is a great archangel for new, like for the new moon, for example, new life, new way of life, creating conception for people trying to conceive babies, motherhood, gestation, birth. Jovial for joy, for empowerment, sunshine energies, decluttering. We said Raphael for healing, Shamuel for love. So there's a list as long I keep going on. Haniel for peace, or for grace. I have a load of them. So I might sit down and have my little list with me. And I might call in an archangel and just sit with that archangel for a minute. And always give them 10 to 15 seconds at least. They come in instantaneously. It can take our energy field that long, or a little longer even, to have an awareness or a feeling of their beautiful light coming through. I always call them 3 times. And sit with that archangel and see how that feels. And maybe you're going to go deeply into a lovely sense of peace, or maybe you'll say, thank you, I feel your energy, but I'm just going to call another archangel. So I'll often call in 2 or 3 and just feel which one I really resonate with, which one I'm feeling, oh my God, I just want to sit here the next 10 hours, I'm happy out. So that's a good, that's for some of you are developing your connection, really going deeper with the archangels, really getting to know the different energies. That's an exercise you could do, which is it's quite simple, but it's quite profound. And it helps you to develop that different sense of a very subtle change in the energy, or maybe it's the exact thing that your body is looking for, or the healing that you need. And you'll have a feeling of the difference of the energies. And that's one thing I would suggest you do as well.
And one of the lovely courses that you do is healing with the angels, but using crystals.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was lucky enough to do that course with you, and it's just, to my mind, one of the most beautiful experiences. It's always, and actually, anybody, those of you listening, if you haven't had an opportunity to do meditation or a course with Debbie, this isn't just, you don't just learn something; you truly experience everything. It's like
It's very deep.
bathed in this beautiful energy, and you come away changed. I can honestly say that. Even
Okay.
if you let go of the practice after a while, you'll still remember, the sort of force of that power or energy coming through. And the other part of it is, it doesn't matter whether it's Zoom or in person, although you may prefer certain courses in person, obviously, if you're hands-on healing and that kind of thing. So just talk to me a little bit about using crystals when you're healing with the angels.
Yeah, so crystals are amazing. I love them. It's not like I worked with them all my life. I only discovered crystals in around 2008. 2008. And they made such a difference, because before I was meditating with crystals, I would struggle with my meditation. I could do 30 seconds and think I had done 10 minutes and just be so, oh my God. It was just such a struggle. And then instinctively I was wandering. I remember for weeks on end, I was wandering looking for looking for something. And I eventually found crystals. So what they do is that, this might sound unusual, but they are a type, they may look like, and I've got one here, loads of them here, like this is the crystal clear quartz point. It looks like a solid piece of clear, like glassy, like stone, but they actually, I think of them and see them as a living being. They evolve so much slower and in a different way to us completely. So we don't recognize them as being a life force like ourselves. Their lifespan can be tens of thousands of years. So the thing about them is, each one of them radiates a specific type of frequency or energy. And when we hold them or carry them, particularly when we meditate, they align with our energy field and they broadcast their frequencies into our energy field in such a way that it lifts our vibrations. For me, I liken it to when I was meditating before the crystals, it was like I was always reaching towards something I couldn't actually get to. When I started meditating with the crystals, it was like it was a lift that brought me up to the next level. And it really, really, for me, it works. Now, there's a little bit of self-care in them, in that they are like little sponges. They will absorb anything that is lower in vibration to them until they become quite clogged up, and then they close down and they go to sleep. Okay. By that I mean they wouldn't be much use to try and meditate with. You wouldn't get much of a connection from them. And sometimes a little lesson I learned many years ago when I started working with them doing healings was I was working with someone who had a terrible issue with headaches, and I worked with a certain type of crystal for that. And the person, after the healing, their headache was gone, great. And a few days later, without thinking, I took up the crystal to meditate, and lo and behold, banging headache. So they can, if you don't look after them, they can release anything they've absorbed back into the energy field. So that's why it's important to keep them clear. And you can do that with popping them into, now there's some crystals that will not react well to water or salt water, and you'll lose them or you'll destroy them. But most crystals will be okay. Google them just to be on the safe side. Warm water with salt, with sea salt, will be really good. Now, the only thing about that is crystals do not like it very much. So if you're to do it every day, you will destroy your crystal. I will only do a big cleanse like that anytime I've been going through something that the crystal's been part of my journey and I know it's absorbed a lot, or maybe 2 or 3 times a year at the very most. Even for some crystals, I won't do that. And there's certain types of like crystal jewelry you wouldn't put into salt water or you destroy it completely. White sage, as long as you're not pregnant, don't use white sage if you're pregnant, would be another. There's different ways to clear. But yeah, they're gorgeous to her. Like I could talk about them
Well,
until
this
tomorrow.
though, because I
Cool.
mean, and I love crystals, and I've got loads of them. But you know something, I would be really loose about having them, about cleansing them, and I'd use
Yeah.
them so much, and that's a really good reminder. In fact, anybody who's even remotely interested in crystals or collecting them or anything like that, it's great. It would probably be a good idea to get a handbook of some kind
Yeah.
and.
Yeah.
But Debbie, that's wonderful advice. This is a new moon tonight. Can
Yes.
we use the energy of the new moon to cleanse our crystals?
Yeah, well, it's more the full moon. New moon is kind of the darkest time of the year, so it's completely, there's no light coming through. And in fact, this time of the year, it's the darkest time of the year anyway. With the winter solstice, there's no moon in the sky. There's very little sun in the sky, so it's really, this is a really strong one. But you can actually put your crystals out at any time, Trina. The crystals are of the earth, as you know. That's, well, except there's moldavite is one crystal that came in of an asteroid. It's kind of a rare enough. Me and Moldavite don't get on. Don't ask me why. We decided we don't
Wrong
we don't
planet.
get each other. Yeah.
Right.
But crystals, that they're born in like they evolve and grow within the earth. So if you have a patch in your garden, like about in 2008, I dedicated a point in my garden just for the crystals. Now I could have about 1,500 to 2,000 of them out the back at any one time. Do you know, there's a lot of them. Because I use them with all my classes. So I give, for the classes, people hold them in the classes, and I just have a lot of them around the place. But I have an area of the garden where they moon and sunbathe. And particularly if I feel they need a little bit of a break, I'll pop them out there for a period of time. So it doesn't have to be a full moon. A full moon does help. It's like when your phone dies, you charge it up. Well, it's like that, a little bit like that with the moon. They do like the charge, that does help to charge them up. However, the earth energy really supports them as well. If you don't have a back garden you can use, or where you feel that the crystals wouldn't be safe, excuse me, a potted plant. If you could get a potted plant and just pop them around the plant would be good. Another thing you can do with your crystals, if you have a crystal that is really important to you, then maybe you feel it's a bit that absorbs a bit of old toxic energy, or it just doesn't feel right, and it's one that's not too delicate. You can bury it at the back garden for a few weeks, and that, or even up to a month or to 3 months, and that can really help it as well to regenerate and reconnect back in.
So you feel that when they're cleansed in that way, you have them. It's like pressing the factory reset button. They come
Yeah.
back to themselves. Their full energy is cleansed, and they're free and clear to continue. Do you know something that's it's only when you hear, sometimes we all need to just plug ourselves into information and inspiration and guidance and all of that kind of thing. So to hear you say this, I know for a fact there's many of us here this evening will be going out to do that in the, even over the
Just
coming.
mind though, the one thing is if you're going to bury your crystals, be careful you remember where. I've done that. I think it's probably dug itself up and just gone off on a journey. I've lost a few of them that way, big time. And that would be just in the most important, like in the biggest of circumstances. You wouldn't
Yeah.
bury them all the time, but yeah. So I've chickens as well that love to
Yeah.
sometimes move them in the garden.
Do they? And do you think
Yeah.
your chickens deliver bigger eggs or whatever because you've got the crystals in
Oh,
the garden?
I don't know what they do yet sometimes. Yes, it certainly helps. They do like them though. So I had to fence them off from the chickens a little bit, but they still manage to get in every now.
Oh,
Maybe dogs and chickens love crystals, just to warn you. So
here we have.
yeah.
Well, I have one lying beside me here on the chair because I've got mine out here on the table beside us because we've got all this beautiful energy coming through this evening. Can I just ask before we go any further, Debbie, has anybody got any questions right now? There's you don't have to just. And actually, I wonder, are you all muted? Sorry. So if anybody wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself or pop the question in the chat box. And Doyle is saying she loved your angel course, Debbie. Yeah. And in
Oh,
your
thank
angel
you.
course, how long does that take?
Um, let me see. I have a few of them. I have the introduction to angels. That's a day long. And
Okay.
then I have the 8 week course you're talking about. That's over the 8 weeks.
Yes.
And then I do the professional course, angelic energy healing.
Mhm.
And that's either to learn more about to deeply connecting with yourself, self healing to a deeper level and degree, or becoming a professional healer, or just working with family and friends. So that's 8 weekends, but to become qualified, it's 4 weekends. And then you do, if you want the qualification as a professional healer, that's six. There's 12 case studies per levels for 2, 3, and 4. So 36 case studies. So yeah, there's a few different bits going on at the moment.
And it
Yeah.
sounds and anybody who wants to can get in touch with Debbie. It's angelicconnections.ie. Is it
Yeah.
.ie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angelic connections. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Trina.
angelicconnect.ie. No, not at all, because there'll be people listening, if not even here this evening. We'll put the recording out, and others if they're interested in finding out more about what you do. And a lot of it, as I said, can be done on Zoom. So a lot of your courses are done on Zoom, and so it's for people because we have people from Australia, from Spain, from Europe, and from North America
Wow.
who they obviously can't be with us very often, but they certainly check in. Ruth is saying, what is a good crystal to start with? Ruth, if
Oh,
you're there, in what way is it for healing, or just for meditation, or just to have to start sort of pique your interest and develop a relationship with crystals?
I suppose to
There you
start
are.
with for meditation, and then just moving on. Look, what ones would you gather?
Yeah.
that's a really good question. And like there's two answers to that. For one, the first answer would be every single person has their own connection. So what would be for me might not be for you, but general all rounder. Just to start and see how you feel. Always when you pick them up, even if no matter who says it to you or what you hear about it, listen to how your body reacts. Bearing in mind the crystal might need to be cleared or whatever the case may be, but how you're feeling drawn. Three crystals come to mind. First one will be tiger's eye. And the reason the tiger's eye is a really good one is it's a beautiful grounding crystal, but it's not overly harsh. Like any black crystals are known for their protective and grounding properties, but for some sensitive souls, they can be too strong or can be too hard in the system. So tiger's eye is both a grounding crystal, it's a protective crystal, and it's brilliant for your spiritual gifts. It's a really good one in that regard. So tiger's eye would be lovely, and it's a lovely one. If in the back far left hand corner of your house, placing a piece of citrine, this is a little bit of extra information, helps to attract abundance of whatever is important to you, be that abundance of love or finances. And a teeny weeny piece of tiger's eye on top of that helps to hold it. That's just a side note. So tiger's eye is one of the crystals. Rose quartz, for any age, rose quartz, because I used to say to people, be mindful of the crystals you give your children, because some crystals are going to be too strong. And then the new little children of the world decided to bounce in, and they're just crystal they're just crystal mad. Any of the young ones that I'm meeting today, oh my God, they could tell you about the crystals. Do you know, they're little channels themselves. But rose quartz, you can't go wrong. Rose quartz is like the solid version of love. It exudes the vibration of love. It is the most amazingly beautiful crystal. And it's like when you have it attuned, properly cleared, and you're working with it, it just, the frequency of love, it's what pulses out of it continuously. So in relation to a companion with your meditation, to holding it in your pocket, to popping it under your pillow, it's a beautiful crystal to have as well. And the final crystal is the clear quartz, this one here. This is a very big version of a tiny tumblestone. I don't have them here. I had them, but I don't. So the tumblestone size would be about this size here. That's an amethyst there. That's a beautiful, I love amethyst, will be my favorite crystal in the world. So I have them everywhere. But for starting off, I would be biased and say amethyst as well, but just go with that yourself. But the reason I say clear quartz is that contains the energies, clear quartz contains the energies of every other crystal in this world that we know of, and the ones that we haven't even discovered yet. It can, so if you have a rare crystal you want to work with, you only have one of it, or even if there's a type of crystal that you can't afford to buy, it's really expensive, you'd love to work with the energy of it. You can ask, there's a way of programming their crystal to hold the energies of whatever that might be. It's a little bit more advanced, but it's something you can do. So the tiger's eye is it's an all-rounder. It can be what you need it to be. It's a good crystal to have. That's why it's used in when people are you'll hear it's known for people who read cards or whatever it would be. It's a good crystal to have.
So this is Mike. I'm jumping in there. Rose McQuillan, if you just pop your mute on down, please, because it even just letting your dog out and interrupts the things. So can I just say this is my tiger's eye, if anyone can see that.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I love it. It comes everywhere. Alan got that for me near Stonehenge. Would you believe it? About 10 years ago. I absolutely love it. Just briefly on the children. Interestingly, my grandniece, my niece's child, absolutely loves crystals, and it was her 10th birthday recently, and she reminded her mother, my sister, that I had said I would get her a book on crystals when it came to when she was 2 digits, when she came to her 10th birthday, and I knew that all of the books available were too much. They were way too grown up and contained spells and perhaps other things that I feel she would not be ready for yet. But I sent away to Amazon for a book for children on crystals and got the most incredibly good book back. I mean, it was far. I learned more reading that than I have done in so many other things. And she has that now. And you're so right. She's just fascinated about them. She, it's like they're a part of her sort of world, and she's so completely comfortable in them. So if anybody's looking, there is a book available. If you have children or grandchildren or neighbors who are interested in these things, of course, with their parents' permission, I think that might be important too. There is a fabulous book. If anybody wants it, I'll go and check out what I bought and I'll send you it. Just email me and I'll let you know. But thank you for that so much there, Debbie. There is a question I just want to go to before I want to ask you another question. Okay, Yvonne says, I have a lot of amethyst, which is her birthstone, and garnet jewelry. I usually clean them in an ultrasonic cleaner. Does this damage their energy?
Do you know, I've never heard of an ultrasonic cleaner. So I couldn't answer.
Jewelry cleaner. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know would be the answer. I can't say because I don't know what it is. I presume it wouldn't. If it doesn't damage the jewelry, I don't see how it would damage the crystals. No, I wouldn't think so. I love calling in the angels as well. And just Ariel, the Archangel, Hania, they're the two that I go to for working with crystals, particularly for working with crystals. They would be the specialists, say, in that realm. And that's what I'll call them in when I'm doing anything with them, particularly anytime I meditate. I will always call them in first, the angels in, and ask them to do a cleanse on the crystals and give it 30 seconds, and then I'll hold them on my hand to do that then.
Fantastic. Okay, that's really good. Couple more questions, and Neighbours, I see you have your hand up as well. I'll go to you in a moment. Katie is saying, after going through a bit of a difficult patch in my life, I feel like I've lost my connection spiritually, especially with the angels. Can you recommend where to start to get myself back in connection again? Great question.
That's a good question, and I understand how that could happen too. Sometimes we're really, things happen, and you're like, how? If I'm that loved and supported, how could this have happened? So I do understand that as well. And go gentle with yourself with that one. Yeah, I would suggest. I'm just trying to think now. You can never go wrong with my friend Michael, but also sometimes having a chat with somebody, like another professional in relation to helping you come back into alignment can be there. If sometimes when things go really wrong for us or are very difficult for us, we might feel completely cut off. We may even have allowed ourselves to create like a layer of that's causes us to feel a massive disconnection. So having support and releasing that can be really, really good as well. And even just quietly. See, I know from working with people that sometimes you could say, well, just sit and meditate. But the last thing, if you're feeling really resistant or if something has happened, the last thing you will want to do is sit and meditate because, it's just not happening for you or there's a massive resistance there. So sometimes it's a good idea to get a little bit of extra support, be that to another healer or talking to somebody or whatever the case may be, just to bring you back into a connection again with yourself.
And I think sometimes as well, Debbie, that it's important to just spend time in nature. I think sometimes,
oh God, yeah.
Spirituality is too much, just being in the elements, in the
The
environment.
magic. Oh,
Yeah.
I went on the most amazing walk yesterday up into the forest in Wicklow, and there's nothing in particular different or special about yesterday. But as I went into the forest, this sense of the elementals and reconnecting, my heart lifted. And I was like, oh my God, I need to do this all the time again. I'd forgotten. I'd been gone out, I'd forgotten to go deep into the forest again. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, it's bathing. I mean, the cathedral is the forest, which I completely agree. I think it's lovely.
Yeah.
Katie says, thank you so much for answering. And Teresa, thank you. You say that's a good question and you felt the same at times. Thanks for that, Teresa, too. And Miriam Haid is saying, and I'm coming to you in a moment, Nibas. Miriam Haid says, where do I buy crystals?
Ah, good question. Good question. There's loads of
Real
places.
crystals, because
Yeah.
they're so easy to
There's some crystals like citrian, for example, which is kind of a famous one. And you see the amethyst here. This is me, amethyst, my friend. It's my amethyst. I love him. But anyway, amethyst started their life. Sorry, citrian started its life as an amethyst and then evolved over time into a citrian. So the reason I'm telling you that story is no matter where you buy crystals, there are some crystals that have been manipulated by scrupulous, not very pleasant people to look like they're something that they're not. In a very subtle way, the agate crystal, the really bright fluorescent colors that you see in agate, that's a dye. Now, I don't think that does too much damage to the crystal, but it's not its natural color. But you can still work with that crystal. However, there are some crystals like the citrian that has been cooked. So it looks like a citrian. It looks like a kind of a golden, like a piece of amethyst that's golden. But in order to get it, because it's more rarer than amethyst, it takes a lot longer to become that. So it's harder to get in this world. If you cook an amethyst in an oven for long enough, it turns into a citrian. It's not good for the crystal. It destroys the matrix of the crystal completely, and it wouldn't be good to work with it. So that's why I'm saying, when you're saying where to buy crystals, most places keep an eye out for that, because not everyone who's buying crystals recognizes that. Some of them are really well done. But there are good places for crystals. In Dublin, there is on Ainger Street, and it's gone out of my head. What is it called? It used to be Crystal Wings. Oh, Dervish. And there's one in Cork as well. Dervish, Dervish. That's lovely. I like that shop. And there's loads of books, all spiritual books. It has statues, it has cards, it has crystals. And then there is a Bachelor's Walk. There's Yellow Brick Road, or there was Yellow Brick Road. That has all the lots of sewing material as well. There's crystals there. And online, now see, I buy from a wholesalers.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think, I don't buy online anymore. There are lots of, Sorry, you'd know probably better.
I've probably mentioned before that there's a super place now. It's based in Liscannor. It's the Liscannor Rock Shop.
I love it.
Have you been there?
I
Isn't it
lost a
so-
lot of money in that shop.
I know.
Trina,
I mean, you've got
I
this.
invested heavily there, so I did, yes.
Well, you've got this amazing amethyst sort of geode behind you, and but when you walk into that shop and you see some of them, and they're body height, and you put your arm into them, I mean, literally every
I
part.
know.
All the hair in your arm stands up. But they do have an online service as far as I know. But listen, if anybody ever can get to the west of Ireland, get to the Scanner.
Oh yeah.
The Rock Shop is, you lose hours there.
We went down, myself and my two friends went on 2-night break specifically to go to that shop.
Oh,
That's the only reason we went away. Oh yeah. Well worth it. And nice cake. Nice cake.
And cake. Yes, of course. You get cake and coffee and sitting amongst all those rocks. It's wonderful.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Nevis, lovely to see you here this evening. And you have your hand up. Do you want to have a quick word with Debbie? Hi, Nevis. Oh, can you unmute, darling? Oh, there you are. Yes.
Hi. I am a total ignorant about the angels.
Oh, you're not with you. Okay.
So I have the first thing when you say about angels, the first thing is what we have learned in the church about angels. I mean, for what you say, it must be something different, but at the same time, you use the same names.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it is to start. Is any book or something? I was checking your website, so I'm going to explore later more. But it is any book or something to start, because there are a lot. And as you say, the same with the stones. There are people who write about angels and who are something to start. And my mind is more on the side of scientific thing, but I want to, maybe because of the age or something, I want to find more about magic, about things, unexplainable things, that they are there. I know that. And I feel sometimes, but I don't know really what it is. So how can I start?
Good question. Yeah, very good question. There's a good few books out there in relation to angels. The archangels that would be mentioned in church, say, for example, they've been around as long as humanity have been around. They have been known by different names as well. Like the ancient gods and goddesses of old when I tune into certain names, I would be, although our interpretation and although what was been placed upon them by man is a lot different, there is a very strong energy coming through there as well. So yes, they would be the same, but I suppose without the projections of what's been placed upon them. Diana Cooper would be a lovely lady who has been working with angels for years and years and years, and I would recommend her books. They're very, very good. I can't think. There's a lovely man that does anyone know him? Do you know him?
Kyle Gray? Yeah.
Yes, I love him. His words are beautiful. He's a gorgeous energy to him. And I'd recommend his books. Kyle Gray's books are just gorgeous. They really are beautiful. So those two, without wanting to confuse you with many different names, if you're starting off and you just want to have a deeper understanding in a nice, easy way, I would strongly encourage you to look into those two people, Diana Cooper and Kyle Gray. Yeah.
I'm stretching over the background. This one is Kyle Gray's book, Connecting with the Angels, Made Easy, How to See, Hear and Feel Your Angels. And that's Kyle Gray. And as you say, he is gorgeous. He's
gorgeous.
He's a little warrior, and light just radiates out of him.
Oh, he's just beautiful. I don't really read other books by myself, because I tune in. The more I look at, like, I'm better as a channel when I don't. When I tune into myself, that's what I find. Yeah. Thanks for your question, by the way. Thank you.
Beautiful question, Nevis. I'm almost envious of you, because starting that whole adventure, starting out on that road of curiosity and following those threads into a whole other world. It is magnificent. And I know you have a particularly beautiful spiritual soul. So there's a wonderful journey ahead of you. I absolutely, completely think that. Just want to ask Debbie a question. There are a number of people, many of us here, will have had a year of perhaps, whether they're difficulties or illnesses or work-related issues or relationship issues or whatever else, where they're coming to the end of the year. And I know that you're going to bring us a meditation this evening, and thank you so much for that. But I'm conscious that it would be wonderful to help people make a fresh start, in a sense, without, of course, wiping away all that is and has to be worked with and healed and all the rest of it. But something to just bring hope, I think, is always really important. And so for those who have had, we have a few people who had really serious illnesses during the year and difficulties, whether it's a back issue, or bone issue, or whatever else. So what I'd love to do, I know that you're going to bring us a meditation. Is it possible to concentrate on that kind of issue as well? Or
yeah, absolutely. And bring in, yeah, absolutely.
bring in lots of light and optimism and hope and
we'll put it out there to ask as well. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And the one thing, just remember, it's a new moon today. The winter solstice is in 10 days' time on the 22nd. That's the darkest time. And that from 22nd onwards, the day's getting longer. And then the next full moon is the 27th. So if you were to say, maybe anyone that's listening that has really had a difficult time, and I know my own group in particular as well, there's been many people that have, it's not easy. It really is. We're really being tested and triggered, and there's a lot happening, and a lot of the time we have to hold so strong because we're minding people in our lives, or we're depending, the center of the family, or whatever the case may be. So it's important to acknowledge yourself and be available. But I would love to see if you felt up to doing a ceremony of some description for yourselves. It could be something so simple as on the morning of the winter solstice or the full moon, or in between both, sitting down, lighting a candle, which would signify the light returning on the morning of Friday morning, or even Saturday morning. Like Grandstad is what the solstice means, which means the sun standing still, and it is 3 days before, 3 days afterwards. It doesn't move in the sky, so it's at that time, it's a really powerful time. And today is new beginnings, beginning again, planting new seeds, conception. So there's a really big, powerful, optimistic alignment at this moment occurring between now and the 27th. So an amazingly powerful time of acknowledging what has happened, because as Trina said, not to sweep it under the carpet. It's really important that we're like, that happened and I'm still alive. I survived it. I'm still here. I may be dealing with the consequences of it. I may still be having to try and juggle everything, but I'm still here. And just to acknowledge that, that's really powerful. And also to take your pen and paper and to be very clear and very true, to write down what you've just acknowledged, but also what your heart yearns to experience. What are your highest hopes and dreams? What if everything was possible and available to you? If there was no restrictions or limitations? What if? Write down your what ifs. Be clear and true with your intention. And really and truly pour your heart onto that page. And do that at the winter solstice. Try and read it every single day, at least once a day, even 2 or 3 times a day, until the full moon. And on the full moon, on the 27th, I want you to burn it. If you can, if you want to. You don't have to. You can store it. You can put it somewhere safe. But if you want to, with great intent, burn it. And the intention when you burn it is, I have acknowledged this. I have aligned with it. And now I'm setting it free for the angels and the universal light and the light of my spirit to do what needs to be done. And that's what I would suggest.
Oh, guys. That is wonderful. So the solstice is on the 21st?
22nd. This year, it's normally 21st. This year is the 22nd.
So the solstice is on the 22nd, and between the solstice on the 22nd and the full moon on the 27th.
Yes. So I know it's Christmas. I know there's a small thing of Christmas in between it. Right. So it might be busy, but if someone is really thinking, this is my year, I'm really acknowledging what has happened. Yes, it happened. I'm here. I'm standing still. And what if this can happen? What if this can happen? Let your heart communicate the what ifs on that page, even if it's 10 pages, or even break it down to points and try and read it, or even think about it once, if not 3 times a day until the 27th, and then burn it, or just acknowledge it somehow. Yeah.
And what about a crystal to put with that to help with the energies? Is there a great one?
Well,
Is
this is a good one. Yeah. Have you selenite? Is that a selenite? Oh, that's clear quartz.
No,
is it?
selenite. I haven't got selenite. Oh,
That's
no,
clear. No, I thought that was
clear
selenite.
quartz. Yeah.
Clear quartz would be a fabulous one, because that's aligned with the stars. Clear quartz, there's everything in that. An archangel to put with the crystal would be a good one.
Yeah.
So I'm particularly partial. I love the Holy Spirit. There's an archangel called Shekinah, Shekinah. I love her. Michael's another one that, no matter, particularly if it's been a hard year, and particularly if you can't see a light at the end of the tunnel, you see next year and you see whatever it is still woven into your path, and you're like, oh God Almighty, when will this be over? Bring Michael with you, and bring Michael in the day you're lighting that crystal, the candle on the 22nd, for example. Even from now, it's very important, because every day until the full moon, the energies are rising and rising as the moon gets brighter. But bring in, what I would suggest, you have a little, bring a party of them in. So light your candle if you can, you don't have to, but invite 3 archangels to support you. So invite Archangel Michael, the archangel of protection and empowerment, who I would suggest. Another gorgeous angelic being would be the Holy Spirit. You may feel called to her, or you may have another being that is really simple, that in part of your belief system, your faith, you want to invite in as well, if you want to. A third archangel that I really love to work with is Archangel Zadkiel, Zadkiel, of the ultraviolet flame. And for me, the ultraviolet flame is a really powerful energy. The divine intelligence of the ultraviolet flame is Zadkiel, and it burns through all fear-based lower energies. So often consider what keeps us blocked, stuck, or unable to move forward. It's very often fear. We're afraid of something. We're afraid of the consequences of something. We're afraid of whatever it might be. So if you release the fear and integrate the learning, then you move forward. Do you know, and often as well, for those developing their spiritual gifts, either healing or their psychic or spiritual gifts, the ultraviolet flame is the energy that comes in to bless and protect you as you evolve and transform. So bring in Zadkiel so you can lift anything that's holding you or causing you to feel held in something that's nasty or negative. The energy of protection and empowerment, Archangel Michael, and the Holy Spirit, or Shamuel, the angel of love, another beautiful being. Oh, I love Shamuel. Shamuel exudes the vibration of love. Bring them there. Call them 3 times. Give them a minute or 2 to settle around you. And give them permission to help you as you write your list. And let yourself, if you cry, you cry. And that's a really powerful thing, by the way. I spent 4.5 years crying at the beginning of my journey. And every now and then I still break into tears. It's fabulous. I love it. It means I'm releasing. So cry your way through it if you need to. Laugh your way through it. That's another way of releasing, by the way, is laughter. We don't realize how powerful laughing lifts the vibrations. But be true to yourself. If you feel that there are people in your life that will be open to this, that would really want to do this with you, invite them to do it too. Have a few of you in the one room, or make an appointment online with each other. Meet on Zoom or meet on WhatsApp or whatever you want. Meet in person. Call in the angels and do it together as a group. That's a lovely thing to do as well. But it's and really put it out there. Share it with people would share the same sense of wanting the best for you. That's what is the best thing to do. So.
Debbie, that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. I know most of us are going to be doing this, because it's just, isn't it wonderful to feel empowered? Because when you take on and you have a ritual and you use a ritual for something, it puts you in control. It gives you something to do, and it kind of it works with the intention for your best interests and your best intentions as well. Thank you so much for that. And would you like to move on to a little meditation before we leave?
Oh, absolutely. Just to say, on the 21st in the Heartwings in Lucan, I'm doing a winter solstice evening at 7 p.m. So it's in person. I know a lot of people here are too far away, but if anyone's in Dublin and wants to join me, I have places available for that. So we will be doing intentions that night as part of that.
So that's 7 p.m. on the 21st, Heartwings in Lucan. And in the evening, obviously, at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Others have said thank you as well. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to do a lovely meditation. And this is going to be, as Trina said, aligning with joy, but also acknowledging what is and asking for divine intervention and support. A big one lately in the last few weeks is don't be afraid to ask for divine intervention, because often we feel there's a limitation on what we can expect to happen, what can happen, or what we can ask for. There's not really at all. We limit ourselves, or we are conditioned to believe in limitations. When you work with the angels, there's no such thing. I've seen it time and time again, things you couldn't possibly begin to imagine unfolding as a result of working with them, whereby maybe you felt boxed into something, or maybe you felt you'd give up on something, and you call for help, and the world just transforms, and it's like, wow, do you know, so it really is powerful. So we're going to put that out there as part of this. So what I would strongly encourage now is just uncross your legs and arms and begin to relax your body. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze, whichever you want. And breathe slow, big, beautiful breaths. And this healing meditation is specific to what your needs are. So whenever you're listening, it could be at this time, December, it could be further on into the year, when you need extra support, maybe a little bit of a lift, particularly if you're challenged, triggered, or struggling at this time. This is going to be really supportive for you. And our intention is just to receive healing for whatever is in need of healing at this time, and to be open to the radiance of joy, love, and a higher angelic perspective in your life. Miracles and blessings. And I'm going to invite your healing teams to step forward now, and whether you are aware of it or not, every one of you have a healing team consisting of your guardian angels, and we always have more than one, the archangels that work closest with you, spirit guides, family and friends of light, those that want the best for you, those that are aligned to the vibration of the highest, purest love. Give them permission to step in and support you now. And believe me, they do this all too willingly. They evolve by serving humanity. And you are their most important priority. It's important to breathe slowly and deeply. Listen to your energy field, your body. Acknowledge, particularly anywhere that feels unsettled, anywhere that you're in pain. Anything that's coming to mind. Maybe you've had a difficult, challenging year. Maybe you're feeling a little bit low. You're struggling. Maybe you're feeling hopeless or despair, unworthy, isolated, or afraid. It's okay to acknowledge that. In fact, I strongly encourage you to do so. By doing so, you're saying to the angels, I can see this, I can feel this, I am open. Ask for help now. Use words, feelings, emotions that accurately describe what you need. Please don't limit yourself. Be true. Be aware of the Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael of protection and empowerment, coming in there with the most beautiful, radiant blue light. It's like it's a blue that I can't even begin to describe. Some of you may be aware of this, some of you won't, and that there's no right or wrong with this. As Michael the Archangel, he's coming in with a huge sword of light, as big as the Archangel himself, and he is big. Standing in, he's gently, lovingly radiating the light around you, highlighting anywhere within your aura, within your body that is vulnerable, where there is despair, where you feel darkness, disconnection, suffering, or sadness. And with his sword of light and with your permission, he's bringing his sword down 3 times. This will not cut you or hurt you, but it will most certainly release any negativity, anything that's draining or negatively affecting you, causing you to feel lower in vibration or fearful. He cuts through it on your behalf with your permission. Give yourself permission to be free. And as you take the next 3 slow, big, beautiful breaths, breathe the light of Archangel Michael right into your body and around your energy field. The light of protection and empowerment. Give yourself permission to lean back into this Archangel's energies. Feel the protective, loving light move through all parts of you, deeply and tremendously supporting, protecting, and illuminating you. Feel your guardian angels there with you as well. Feel the angel of love, Archangel Shamuel. Her light is shimmering and shining. It's almost like, for some of you, the light of Shamuel, often seen as a beautiful baby pink or fluorescent pink or rose gold. Don't worry if you're seeing something else or not seeing any colours. As Archangel Shamuel comes in, call her. Call her 3 times. You can say, Archangel Shamuel. Archangel Shamuel. Archangel Shamuel. I call upon you now. Feel Shamuel's light shining through any veils of illusion or fears, anything that causes you not to see the higher perspective, an angelic perspective. And just be aware of a very pure, radiant love light beginning to permeate and penetrate deep into your core, particularly to areas that feel jaded, weary, worn out, fatigued, any part of you that just can't feel the magic of this time, that is struggling on some level. Feel the love coming through for you now, the divine intelligence of the most tremendous love flowing right through for you now. And be aware above you, a very white, bright light. This for me is the energy of our source light, or the Holy Spirit's light. The white fire of the white flame of the Shekinah energies coming right through. And some of you may feel a little bit floaty for a moment. You might feel a lift in your chest area or around your body. You might feel it's like a very sacred sense of peace beginning to descend over and through you. And imagining a doorway at the top of your head, opening or being opened now. Feel a wave of the most profound and sacred light come through you. And as it does so, feel it flood your energy field with the most beautiful energy. It's like a sacred peace. That's how I would describe it. And no matter what your experience is, no matter how wound up or entangled you feel to be with yourself or something else, just feel this energy tremendously lift your vibrations. And working in unison with each other, the Archangel Michael, the Angel of Love, Shamuel, the Holy Spirit, Shekinah, your vibration is being gently lifted. For some of you, disentangled from something or other, and you're being realigned on a higher level of your path. So it means that there's a higher perspective available to you, more radiant angelic peace and love, a sense of a higher outcome aligning with you. And what Michael the Archangel is showing me quite strongly, particularly in the area under the ribs and the heart center, the solar plexus and the heart chakra, where maybe we have evolved or created a belief about how something will be, how our life will be, how a situation will be. Maybe we feel or find we can't see a higher outcome in some situation or issue. We're feeling a little bit lower or floored, defeated. As you breathe slow, big, beautiful breaths, feel the love light of Shamuel, the protection of Michael, and the pure peace of the Holy Spirit weaving into those parts of you, the parts that have created a sense of how something is, or allowed yourself to absorb a belief system, even if it's not aligned with your highest outcome, something that is causing you to worry, to feel a struggle, something you've absorbed or inherited. Feel the trio of energy weave through you and beginning to dissolve. You can imagine it like ice melting on a sunny, warm day, the light coming through you, melting any restrictions or limitations that you've placed upon yourself or allowed to be placed upon yourself. Anything you've created out of resistance or self-sabotage, unworthiness, or feeling of not belonging in this world. Feel the loving light of Michael, Shamuel, the Holy Spirit, Shekinah, profoundly and powerfully weave through you, intervening on your behalf. And this is something I would strongly encourage you to allow. And in your mind, you can say, I call forth my guardians, the Holy Spirit, the Archangel of Love, Shamuel, the Archangel of Protection, Michael, and anybody else you wish to call in. Keep breathing those wonderful big breaths. I want you to say now, if it feels right, I give the beings of light that are here permission to divinely intervene on my behalf for my highest outcome and the highest good of all. I give myself permission to receive the healing codes and frequencies that I now need to hold, carry, and align with for more joy, fulfillment, peace, and a higher perspective within myself, within my life. I am worthy. I belong. And so it is. Beautiful smell coming in there for some of you. And just feel how profoundly those words are working, how when you ask and allow yourself to receive, the angels will always intervene. They will always, always, always help you. And just be aware of the light building within you. Feel a disentangling of any heaviness around your third eye. The energy of the ultraviolet flame of Zadkiel coming in there as well. And the gorgeous light moving through you, helping to release any intrusive thoughts, any heavy perspectives or negativity. And channels of higher perspective, joy, fulfillment, and love coming right through you, feeling the sacred light of peace, the radiance of love and the protection of the archangels weaving with you and becoming one with you, the energy dropping into your throat chakra. Breathe slow, big, beautiful breaths. Give yourself permission to be anesthetized powerfully to whatever level and degree that you now need. So the light of the archangels can permeate and penetrate deep into your trauma, into your wounds, into your suffering, into your sadness, into the things that are entangled and tied deep to you, so that you can be receiving profound healing without being re-traumatized or experiencing that which is releasing from you. Keep breathing. Slow, big, beautiful breaths. Feel the energy weaving down through the throat chakra, over the shoulders. Give yourself permission to release words, spoken or unspoken, written or unwritten, by you or to you, or by any member of your ancestral line, or to them in anger, pain, hurt or fear, anything that has influenced or impacted you. And once again, feel that beautiful, radiant, gorgeous peace of the Holy Spirit, the love of Shamuel and the protection of Michael. And just being aware with each breath that you take, you're absorbing a higher perspective, pure healing light. Your energies are transforming, healing. You're dropping heaviness from your energy field, from your aura. The energy not only influencing and affecting you, but shining into your life through situations and scenarios that you need help or support with. Feel the light shining over your shoulders, weaving down your arms, inside and outside your body, down into your hands, doorways opening. And as you breathe in this profound healing. As you release, give yourself permission to let go of stale, stuck, stagnant energy. Feel the energy dropping into the heart center. Imagine a doorway into your chest. Don't worry if your eyes leak, even if you don't understand why. As the body begins to release, begins to clear. And gorgeous healing light just dropping down into your heart. Beautiful energy coming in with this. And just allowing the light to seek out anywhere within you that is heartbroken, that feels distraught, that is suffering or struggling, where you're missing somebody deeply, where you feel really wounded. Just feel the loving light of the angel of love, the angel of protection, the angel of peace, working with you, and other beings, the ultraviolet flame, your guardian angels, all unifying to support you. Feel your heart expand with this light. Allow your energy to quieten and calm. Some of you may be aware of a deep sense of relief or release, a feeling of floating as the light drops down under your ribs. Breathe into the solar plexus, just under the ribs. And I'm just going to ask the angels just to gently connect with any impatience, any stress, anxiety, or panic. Anybody that is struggling with the meditation, struggling to quieten their minds, feeling really scared or worried about something. For a moment, just bring your awareness to whatever is causing you concern. And feel the light of Michael, of protection and empowerment. The light of love, of Shamuel. The light of peace, of Shekinah. And the ultraviolet flame of Zadkiel moving directly into the source of whatever is troubling you, worrying you, or causing you not to be at peace. Feel an illumination from inside you, glowing and growing with this. Each slow, big, beautiful breath is expanding the light of your own inner spirit, your own divine connection, the light of your own love. Each breath, you're becoming more attuned to your own energy, divine spirit that you are, underneath all the illusions, all the experiences, all the conditioning. You're reclaiming and reconnecting back into your true divine self. Feel the energy moving, weaving and flowing down into your tummy. 1.5 inches below your belly button. Feel a doorway opening or being opened front and back. Taking a slow, big, beautiful breath, feel a tremendous light drop right down through you, a mixture of peace, of love and protection, of freedom, the ultraviolet flame, moving through your tummy. Feel anything that is knotted, any tension here beginning to dissolve, like this, the ice melting on a sunny day. Anything that's clogged or blocked in here beginning to melt, including any fears that you're holding, secrets that you've had to carry that are causing you to be in pain, to hold shame, regret, guilt. Feel only deep, endless compassion, deep love, tremendous support. The angels are championing you on a higher perspective, a feeling of life, optimism, expansion, transformation, possibilities, potential, falling, shining, beaming and flowing into you here. You are deeply worthy. You truly belong in this world. You are deeply loved. And even if you struggle with this, just know the angels see you, they love you, and they want to help you. So once again, from everything inside you, ask for help. Be clear and true. Express your needs now. Just feel the energy really and truly acknowledging your request, all that you're carrying or holding. They see you and they're working with you for your highest outcome. The light dropping into your tummy, into your pelvis, a doorway at the bottom of the spine opening. Once again, breathing in this tremendous radiance. And as you exhale, giving yourself permission to release stale, stuck, and stagnant energy. Feeling a tremendous peace, broadcasting through you tremendous love, and a sense of being really and truly protected on all levels, not only in your physical form, but in every layer of your aura, in and around you in your life. A sense of being more present, safe, courageous, grounded. The light weaving down your legs to your knees, doorways opening in the knees. Once again, letting any stale old energy release. And as you breathe slow, big, beautiful breaths, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all the layers of your aura being tremendously supported. The light weaving from the knees down into the calves, the ankles, the feet, the tips of your toes, your heels. Imagining doorways opening once again and breathing it right through you, that light, exhaling stale, stuck, stagnant energies. Feel the light rising from the earth, the angels of the earth, Sandalphon, the beings that know you and love you, Archangel Michael, that light helping to weave you into the most sacred, powerful, and profound alignment for the 12 months to come, for all that you need to be supported continuously, held and protected from every part of you. From the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, feel beautiful white golden roots begin to grow right down through you, right down into the earth beneath you, being guided by Michael, the Archangel of Protection and Empowerment, by Shamuel, the Angel of Love, by Shekinah, the Angel of Peace, sacred peace. It's the most compatible connections that you have with this world, this earth, the crystal energies that are most connected to you. Feel the roots grow deeper, spreading out in all directions, becoming really, really strong, allowing you to be profoundly supported, held and protected within your body, within your life. Sense those roots grow deeper and deeper. Deeper still. Spreading out in all directions. Becoming really, really strong. Allow yourself to absorb the nourishment and nurturance, the wisdom, the courage and strength of all that you need at this time in your body and for going forward in your life. Take a big, beautiful, slow breath, and just for the final part, feel those roots grow even deeper. Being divinely connected and aligned by the archangels, deeper. Deeper still. Spreading out in all directions. Becoming incredibly, incredibly strong. You are protected, deeply, profoundly connected and supported. Feel the light of sacred peace, endless love, angelic protection and freedom move through you and work with you for all that you need and all that you are. And taking a big, slow, beautiful breath, bring your awareness now back into the room.
Debbie, thank you so much. That felt like an activation, or
Yeah, it was very strong. It was a bit more deeper than I thought we were going to be. So it's a little bit deeper than even a beginning meditation. Be more like, yeah. But it was what came up. It was what the group needed. And there's beautiful energies in this group. Oh my God. There's gorgeous energy. Like the archangels are shining through you. It's just fabulous.
You've loads and loads of thank yous. I just want to say, from my point of view, that was stunning. I felt a real kind of deeply cleansing and clarifying and a sense of activation as well, which I think is what we need sometimes, particularly when some people mentioned there that, you know, how do you get back to your practice? How do you begin a new practice or whatever else? All of that, I felt all of that coming through. And I have to say, I love something when you are experiencing something in the meditation, and then you say it and you just go, oh my God, it's so wonderful. It's a real kind of validation, which is great. So Debbie, thank you.
It's not me. It's like I'm a channel, but I can't take it. Like I feel what I'm simply an interpreter. That's all I am. Do you know, there's nothing different to me in relation to that. So I'll feel what you feel. Do you know? Thank you anyway. Thank you.
Well, you say that, but my goodness, you're a gift to all of us, and thank you. You are light. I've always said this, and I know others, Gail and others, will say that you're very much the light lady. Everybody's saying thank you so much, Debbie. I think that meant a lot to a number of people. And so I just can't think of a more wonderful way to end this year with our group, and I know you have your group here as well, and to bring in so much light and to finish this year on something so beautiful, and to have what you've given us is that lovely ritual and practice that we can do between the solstice and the full moon.
That's a lovely one. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Trina. Thanks for having me on tonight. Thank you so much. And thanks for everybody, those that I know and those that I'm meeting for the first time. Thank you very much. And lovely to see you there. Thank you.
I know you meet them again, because that's what it's all about here. Listen, everybody, we're going to say thank you and have a wonderful Christmas season, and I hope you have lots of warm, loving companionship and friendship and happy memories to make for each other, and we look forward to seeing you back again in early January. And I have an incredible lady coming to us in the very first lady. I might have mentioned her, Maria Wheatley, who's astounding, and I'll tell you much more about it. She's a dowser and a number of other things. So Debbie, thank you. And
thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Thank you again.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.